For example, providing education is something that we have decided we know we cannot do unless we do it together. That's why we created a system of public education. And it's why I will appoint a Secretary of Education who actually believes in public. I don't think you have freedom unless you know where your health care is going to come from.
Yeah.
From an enterprise perspective, think of how many people don't go off and start a small business because they can't afford to leave the job they're in because they're afraid they would lose their coverage. So in that case, asking the government to step up, not about big or small government, but the right kind of government option, can enhance the freedom of Americans by delivering health care. It's why I propose what I would call Medicare for all who want it. In other words, we take a version of Medicare, we make it available on the exchange, and it is a public alternative available to every American. But it gives you the freedom to decide whether that's right for you. I think that's preferable to Medicare for all, whether you want it or not. It honors that American idea of choice. But if people like me are right, that the public alternative will be better, then people will naturally move toward it on their own. These are the kinds of solutions, I think, that can bring us together, get something done, but are also bold enough to meet the moment that we're in. Because we cannot go on like we've been. I have been struck by the ways in which this state of affairs in our country is impacting people. And it's not just about our plans. I hope we get a chance to dig into some of the plans that I believe will help make this country better, from a plan on building up rural economies, to our plan for national service, to create 1 million paid service opportunities a year for young people in this country, to our Douglas plan for tackling systemic racism in this country with as much intention and as many resources as what went into rebuilding Europe with the Marshall Plan. But this time paying attention to entrepreneurship with an ambitious goal for federal procurement with minority-owned business, health, housing, education, criminal justice reform, and voting rights, and seeing how they're all fitting together. I'd love to talk about my climate plan. We got a lot of plans. I think the biggest question is whether any of our plans are going to get done. And that requires that we are paying attention to more than just who's winning the fight in Washington. And if we don't, we're going to have a hard time looking our kids in the eye. I'm going to events around the country where people not yet old enough to vote are coming up to me with a level of moral urgency. Yesterday, a 10-year-old girl wants to know, is in Virginia, wants to know what I'm doing to keep her school safe from gun violence. At the age of 10. This is what's on her mind. This is her school safe. She should be thinking about 10-year-old stuff, not the kinds of things that I worried about when I was training for Jackson. I had a 12-year-old in Orlando raise her hand and ask me a question about health insurance. And at first I thought, that's pretty cool. 12-year-old is so dialed in and savvy that she's asking about health insurance. But it wasn't academic for her. She's asking because she's got juvenile diabetes. And she has pieced together in her mind that her life is vulnerable if her parents lose their coverage, or she loses the ability to get coverage through her parents. And so this is something she's thinking about at the age of 12. And the only good answer I can give these kids is, of course we have policies on that. The real answer is, we're supposed to fix that. We're supposed to worry about that so you don't have to. So you can focus on being a kid. And I want to set this country up so that in the future, and I don't mean the far off, I mean, let's say 10 years when those kids are 20 or 22, that we can look them in the eye and say, we turned things around starting in 2020. That was the year that we acted to make sure that the economy really is a rising tide that lifts all boats. That was the year we did something to make sure that climate disruption is not limiting your opportunities. That was the year we started taking real steps to make sure that your race had no bearing on your health or your wealth, your life expectancy, or your relationship with law. That we came together to get these things done in 2020 so that we can stand up a little taller instead of just feel our blood pressure go up when we think about politics and what we do together in life. I believe only presidential leadership can guide that kind of change. I believe that's what the presidency is for. And that's what I seek to do with the presidency, if you send me away. So hopefully that gives you a sense of what I care about and why I'm doing this. And I'm so thankful for the chance to be here with you today. And with that, I'm gonna stop the monologue and would love to, talk about or answer questions about whatever's on your mind.